Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another video, and we're back looking at the top 50 programmes of the week. This time we're doing a bit of catching up. We're going to be looking at week 3 of 2024. That accounts for the middle of January, and you know the format by now. We're just going to go through the top 50 programmes, see what fell where, and talk a bit about maybe why they fell in those positions in the first place. So kicking off at number 50 then, we have the ITV Evening News. We always know that news programmes fall in here. I'm going to actually try and keep a better count this time of how many news programmes actually break the top 50, just to look at comparison wise. 49 straight away, then you've got the BBC News at 10, and then 48 is another edition of the ITV News. So we're already 3 placements in, and the news has occupied those first 3 placements. How high will it reach this week? We'll just have to wait and see. 47th, we've got The Chase. As always, as I've said before, this is a very popular quiz show. It's on at a primetime slot during the weekdays. Common to see it pop up in these charts. Considering it's been on as long as it has, what did it get down here? 2.776 million viewers, not bad at all. 46 is another game show, Only Connect, which of course airs on BBC Two. Now, normally when you look at these chart placements, very common for BBC One, ITV1 to pop up on here. Channel 4 sometimes, but channels like BBC Two rarely pop up on the top 50, so very fascinating that it has here. Only Connect is a programme, I have dabbled with it a few times, but it's not my kind of show, really. It doesn't really grip me that much. But hey, it pulled in 2.865 million viewers, so clearly it has enough of a following to land in the top 50. 45 and 44th are occupied by 2 episodes of The Chase. Again, not surprised to see them here. 43rd is The One Show, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've had The One Show in 2024 emerge in the top 50 here. It pulled in 2.917 million viewers on the Tuesday. They must have had a very special guest that day, I'm guessing, because, again, I haven't seen it pop up before. 42nd and 41st is The Chase yet again, so I think that accounts for every day of the week. Monday's episode being the most viewed with 3.086 million viewers there, so it may be an old show, but there's a lot of life left in the dog yet, clearly. 40th is Casualty with 3.108 million viewers, and as I've said before, I love Casualty. It doesn't always crack the top 50, but it's nice to see that it does. Maybe not even in the top 30 as it used to, but 40th place out of everything that's out there, fair play to them. 39th place, we've got Would I Lie to You? That's popped up a few times. Again, very popular show there. Grantchester from ITV, that takes 38th. At 37th, we have The Weakest Link. Of course, this is the reboot hosted by Ramesh Ranganathan. I like a few elements of it. I dislike a few other elements of it. But yeah, nice to see it emerge in the top 50. Again, for a format that's nearly 25 years old at this point. 36th is the BBC News at 10. So that is the 4th news programme we have this week so far. 35th is Anton Deck's Limitless Win. That had just over 3.2 million viewers. Again, those two are very, very popular. Not surprised to see them here at all. At 34th, we have another edition of the BBC Weekend News. That is 5 now, count them, 5 placements. That is a whole 10th of the top 50 so far is news programmes. And then on 33rd, we have Dancing on Ice. Again, a very long running but very popular programme. 32nd is again the BBC Weekend News, so that's 6 placements. That pulled in 3.6 million viewers. And at 31st, you have The Tourist with 3.651 million viewers. Again, nice to see dramas emerge in the top 50. You know, it's not just soap operas or game shows, reality shows, etc. Even though The Tourist maybe hasn't peaked to the same level of popularity it did during Series 1, the fact it's still here, almost cracking the top 30, I'll take that. 30th is the BBC News at 6 yet again, so that is 7 entries now, a news, and that was on the Thursday, pulling in 3.722 million viewers. I kind of get it with the news, though, because if you think about it, there's a lot going on in our big scary world at the minute, and to watch a news programme is just to stay informed, I guess, and a lot of people want to know what's going on, and BBC News is arguably the most trusted of them. Then we get into the soaps. 29th and 28th place are going to EastEnders, both pulling in around 3.8 million viewers, followed by another double bill. Is 2 editions this time of the BBC News at 6, which means we have 9 places in the top 50 are news programmes. At 26, that BBC News, that pulled in 3.928 million viewers at 6 o'clock. It's often the 6 o'clock news, which is like the peak one. People are having their dinner. It's the prime time to catch up. To be expected. EastEnders does take 25th, its third episode of the week there with 3.972 million viewers. Can't quite seem to crack the 4 million mark regularly anymore, and I know that's a changing trend in TV viewing, TV habits, but EastEnders, I guess a lot of the soaps, it just, to see how far they've sort of fallen, just in the viewing table, I'm not talking about terms of quality, but just in terms of the viewing table, is quite staggering, actually, to witness. 24th is Dragon's Den, again just shy of 4 million viewers. That programme always seems to do really well despite its age. Then we move into another soap, Emmerdale. Emmerdale takes 23rd and 22nd place there for ITV with over 4 million viewers. Again, really embracing a level of popularity to Emmerdale's, particularly after the 50th anniversary a few years ago. The final EastEnders episode this week takes 21st, so just missing out on the top 20 for good old EastEnders there with 4.216 million viewers. And I do get it with soaps, all of these, you know, when they've been around for decades as they have, to invent new storylines that I guess are somewhat relatable but also exciting as well. It must be quite a challenge with every year that passes, so I give full credit to the writing and production teams behind these programs. Into the top 20 then, at 20th and 19th, we've got 2 more episodes of Emmerdale there, and I think there's one more to come. But then, at 18th and 17th, is 2 editions of the BBC News at 6, which means we're up to 11 places in the top 50. That's more than a fifth. 11 places, more than 20%. 11 places are just solely news programmes shared between the BBC and ITV. At 17th, that edition of BBC News at 6 took in 4.293 million viewers. And there's always a bit of a debate about whether news programmes should be counted into this. And I'm going to talk about that once we've gone through the chart as a whole, so stick around for that. At 16th, we have the best performing episode of Emmerdale here, pulling in 4.309 million viewers. I'm sure the ITV heads will be happy about that. A nice, comfortable top 20 placement for that there. 15th, though, is Countryfile, which seems to have a very dedicated audience, clearly more than some of the long-running soap operas. That pulled in 4.310 million viewers, an extremely popular programme. Something I learned when it was just before Doctor Who, when Doctor Who was going out on Sundays. It has a very loyal audience, does Countryfile. The Masked Singer at 14th, again, I don't need to keep repeating myself on this. Don't know why it's that high, but it is. So, you know, fair play to ITV on that one. Then 13th, 12th, and 11th place are 3 editions, seemingly the only 3 editions this week, of Coronation Street. Nice that they're all back-to-back. Monday's episode performed the best with 4.703 million viewers. So I think we've had this a few weeks now with Corrie, where it honestly misses out on a top 10 placement. The fact that 11th, 12th, and 13th are taken up by this soap opera that is nearing 65 years old is still very impressive. Clearly, out of all the soaps, it is the oldest one still going, and clearly with the most loyal fan base, and clearly getting in newer viewers as well. So into the top 10, what have we got? Amazingly, Pip in Coronation Street, ITV's big soap opera. We've got Antiques Roadshow, which pulled in just over 5 million viewers. Again, the sheer level of audience numbers this has, just like Countryfile, is staggering. It has such a wide fan base, people who tune in every week to see what and I love my antiques, right? Don't get me wrong, but I don't necessarily put my time aside to watch Antiques Roadshow. If I'm free and it's on, it's there, but I don't make it appointment viewing. But clearly more than 5 million people did in this particular week. So great, top 10 placement for Antiques Roadshow. Who'd have thunk it? 9th place is After the Flood, one of ITV's newer dramas that had 5.613 million, so quite a jump there from Antiques Roadshow. 8th place is Michael McIntyre's Big Show, again, very popular comedian, has a lot of pull. 7th place is Silent Witness, long-running drama, clearly still reigns supreme. We're on season 20-something now, I think, and that's pulled in 6.369 million viewers. 6th place goes to Vera, again, another very long-running drama series for ITV. That pulled in 6.419 million viewers. And suffice to say, folks, this is ITV's best performing show on this particular week. It's Vera. So fair play, ITV. You got 6th, but it seems you couldn't reach higher this week. Which, just to avoid it now, all 5 top spots are taken by programmes that aired on BBC One. 5th place goes to Call the Midwife, which took in 6.712 million viewers. Yet again, another very long-running drama that is very popular, very loyal audience there. 4th place is Gladiators with just over 7 million viewers. And I'm actually quite happy to see this because when Gladiators topped the charts in week 2, in last week's one, I think there was a lot of speculation as to how far it might fall from grace, as it were, as time's gone on. But considering, again, that a lot of people thought it would slump quite badly in the charts, it's dropped from number 1 to number 4. and still with 7 million viewers in a 2024 landscape for mainstream terrestrial TV, that is very impressive. So clearly the formula they've gone with this reboot is working and working numbers. I'll be curious to see if it's able to stay in the top 10 throughout the rest of its run on TV, but we'll see in the coming weeks. And then the top 3, third place and second place, as you can see here, are 2 editions of The Traitors. Again, this has been a monster hit for the BBC, both of those pulling over 7 million viewers. And number one this week, as you might have probably guessed by now, is indeed another installment of The Traitors, which pulled in not much over Friday's installment, it seems. Only 1,000 more. It won with 7.107 million viewers. But regardless of the small gap, it seems, The Traitors has bronze, silver, and gold this week, so it was going to win no matter what, at least. But even when you compare third and fourth, the Traitors only beat Gladiators by about 15,000 viewers, which, again, is relatively small. Gladiators could have easily taken third place there, but The Traitors has done it. It has taken the top spot, so well done to them and all involved. I'm sure it will definitely stick around in that top 10 going forward, especially as it nears its end. So not a great surprise there. As always, let's take a look at the graph version. Now this accounts for the top 15 programs specifically, so you can see Countryfile there in 15th, all the way up until The Traitors. Now, we always like to look at the big gap in these graphs here. There isn't a major one this week. You can see it sort of steadily climbing and climbing. Probably between Corrie and Antiques Roadshow, there's about 300,000 in it at that, but perhaps maybe the most significant jump has to be from Antiques Roadshow at 10th to After the Flood at 9th, with about 600,000 or about 550,000 viewers there, but no major leap ahead. You can even see in the top 5, after Call the Midwife, between Gladiators and The Traitors, there's really not a great deal in it. As I said, The Traitors, the Wednesday episode only pipped Friday by 1,000 viewers, but not a great leap this week. But again, The Traitors coming top of the charts, with how successful that's been, I don't think that's hardly a surprise. Before we round off though, I just want to touch on what I mentioned about the news programs. So in 50 shows, 11 of them, more than 20%'s worth, were news programs, split between the BBC and ITV. Now there is some debate as to whether news programs should be considered for these charts by Barb, because, news programs, of course, especially when there's major things going on in the world, of course people are going to sit down and tune into the news. They aren't necessarily considered entertainment in the same way that, the dramas are, the soap operas, the game shows, reality shows, etc. Personally, I can see both sides of it. If you want to just make a list purely based on entertainment-based programs or dramas or whatever, then sure, take the news out of it, because then there's scope for, there's 11 slots there that could have been occupied by very different kinds of programs that we don't normally see on this chart, if everything gets bumped up. But I also understand why it is there, because news is popular, but in the sense of people are engaged with the news. And I think the fact that millions week on week are still engaged with the news, enough that it takes up 20% of the top program chart, I think that just speaks to the importance of the news that we have and why it should continue. And again, whether you choose to watch it, that's completely up to you. I'm not saying everyone has to watch the news, but clearly it has a very consistent audience, so much so that it breaks into these charts very regularly. But that is week 3 of 2024 at the Barb charts. Again, congratulations to The Traitors for taking the top spot there. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let me know your thoughts on this particular week. Are you happy with the shape of this list? Do you think other programs deserve to be on here? And if so, let me know what down in the comments. In the meantime, I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, Globe of Reviews, Derek Chambers, Shaun Knock, Dord Khan, Liam Domain, Trev Hughes, AJ Mac 200017, Deck KP20, Simon Harrison, and Evan Hart 38, our AMTV staff members.